let us discuss about vernal keratoconjunctivitis. Keratoconjunctivitis. Okay, vernal keratoconjunctivitis. Vernal keratoconjunctivitis is also called spring ketera. Is also called spring ketera. Let's see what is this vernal keratoconjunctivitis. It is inflammation of conjunctiva. It is inflammation of conjunctiva. This inflammation is bilateral inflammation. It is bilateral inflammation of conjunctiva and it is self-limiting condition. Self-limiting condition and it is interstitial condition. It is something related to inflammation of interstitium of conjunctiva, right? So interstitium is involved. Clear? So this is the introduction of vernal keratoconjunctivitis. It is the inflammation of conjunctiva. It is bilateral. It is self-limiting, and it is the inflammation of interstitium of conjunctiva. Here, see, this is something related to allergic condition. Clear? So here, in this vernal keratoconjunctivitis, what happens is there is allergic reaction to pollen grains. Pollen, or we can say pollen allergens. So allergic reaction to pollen allergens. Clear? Why this allergic reaction takes place? That we should know. This allergic reaction takes place because there is something problem with Th2 cells. Clear? This as there is some problem with Th2 cells, it results in exaggerated response or otherwise hypersensitivity reaction to pollen grains or pollen dust or pollen allergens. Okay, so hypersensitivity to pollen allergens. Clear? This is usually seen in dry conditions, dry and hot conditions. Where do you see these dry and hot conditions? We see these in summer, right? Or we can say spring season. So that is the reason why this has been named as spring ketera. Clear? Now we'll see the predisposing conditions. See that one thing we have to remember here is it is allergic reaction. Clear? It is allergic reaction mediated by IgE antibodies. IgE antibodies. Clear? Let's see the predisposing factors. Predisposing factors. This condition is mostly seen in young age, 4 to 20 years of age. 4 to 20 years of age, and boys are more involved than girls. As I told you, it is most commonly seen in summer. So this condition will exaggerate during summer. Okay, that's the reason why this condition or this vernal keratoconjunctivitis is also called warm weather conjunctivitis. Warm weather conjunctivitis. Here, warm weather conjunctivitis. And you see, this warm weather is present in tropics, right? Tropical countries. So we'll see this condition more in the tropical countries. So, and it is non-existent in cold climate. Okay, in 40 to 75% of patients, you will observe that there will be eczema or asthma in association. Eczema or asthma, because these two are also hypersensitivity reactions, right? So we can expect their association with this condition, right? In 40 to 60% of the patients, there will be positive family history. Positive family history. Clear? Now we'll see the pathological condition. We'll see the pathology. See, as all of us know, conjunctiva has 3 layers, right? Conjunctiva has 3 layers. 3 layers, right? The uppermost layer is epithelium, right? Epithelium. Middle one is adenyl layer, right? Adenyl layer. The innermost is fibrous layer. Fibrous layer. Clear? We'll see the changes that takes place in these layers, in this condition. Okay, what are the changes that takes place in these layers? We'll see. So in the epithelium, what are the changes we see? We'll see papillary reaction. We'll see papillary reaction. Okay, papillary reaction. And we'll also see infiltration of mast cells, eosinophils, clear? And the epithelium, these epithelium undergoes hyperplasia, means the cells will divide, right? There will be hyperplasia of epithelium, and these epithelium will invaginate into subepithelial regions. Okay, this epithelium will invade into the subepithelium, invaginates into subepithelium. Okay, subepithelium. So these are the changes that takes place in epithelium. Next, move to adenyl layer. In adenyl layer, what we see is, we will see cellular infiltration. Here also we will see cellular infiltration. Cellular infiltration. Which cells will infiltrate? These are mast cells, eosinophils, plasma cells, lymphocytes, and histiocytes. Clear? In the fibrous, these are changes in adenyl layer. In fibrous layer, what we see is proliferation of fibrous layer. Clear? And what we see is, we'll also see island change. Clear? So these are changes that takes place in the layers of conjunctiva. In the epithelium, what we see is, we'll see hyperplasia of the cells. After that, this epithelium will invaginate into the subepithelial tissue, and there will be papillary reaction. There will be infiltration by mast cells, eosinophils. Clear? In the adenyl layer, what we see is cellular infiltration. By which cells? Mast cells, eosinophils, plasma cells, lymphocytes, and histiocytes. Clear? In the fibrous layer, we see proliferation of fibrous layer, and we'll also see island change. Clear? These are changes that we see in the layers of conjunctiva. Now let's see the signs and symptoms. Before going to signs and symptoms, we will see the clinical forms of the disease. Okay, clinically this has been divided into some forms. Clinical forms of vernal keratoconjunctivitis. Clinical forms. There are three forms. One is palpebral form. Second one is bulbar form or bulbar limbar form. Third one is mixed form. mixed form. Okay, based on clinical features, or we can say based on their appearance, these can be divided into three forms. One is palpebral form, bulbar limbal form, and mixed form. Clear? Now let's see each one of these. First we will see palpebral form. Palpebral. Here upper tarsal conjunctiva is involved. Clear? Upper tarsal conjunctiva is involved. Upper tarsal conjunctiva in both eyes. That you should remember. I already told you this condition is bilateral, right? So what the changes that you see in this upper tarsal conjunctiva? You will see that there will be some flat top papillae. Clear? Okay, so these are papillae which are flat top, and these are hard. Suppose this is irid. Okay, on the inner surface we have palpebral conjunctiva, right? So on this palpebral conjunctiva we have papillae. Okay, we have papillae. These are flat topped and hard. Okay, these papillae will appear like cobblestone, right? So this is called cobblestone appearance or pavement stone appearance. Pavement stone appearance. Clear? So this is pavement stone appearance or cobblestone because they appear as the stones, as the stones on the road. Okay, so the reason why this name has been given because the appearance is like that. Okay, cobblestone appearance or pavement stone appearance. Okay, so when these cobblestone appearance will undergo hypertrophy. If these enlarges in size, if these undergoes increase in size, then these will look like cauliflower. These lesions will look like cauliflower like excrescence. Okay, we will write in new page. So when this cobblestone appearance undergoes hypertrophy, then the appearance will change, right? As size increase, the appearance will change. Now this appearance is called cauliflower like excrescence of giant papillae. Cauliflower like excrescence of giant papillae. Okay, and other associations is there will be white ropey discharge. Clear? There will be white ropey discharge along with this papillae. Okay, let's revise it. What are the things that we see in palpebral form? We see is papillae, right? What we see is papillae. How these papillae? These are flat topped, these are hard, and these are arranged like stones on the road. So this appearance is called cobblestone appearance or pavement stone appearance, we can say. Okay, when these undergoes hypertrophy, hypertrophy, then that appearance is called giant papilla. Giant, clear, giant papilla. Then other symptom is, apart from papilla, other sign that we can see here is white ropey discharge. White ropey discharge. Clear? This is about palpebral form. Now moving to bulbar limbal form. Bulbar limbal form. Clear? Here what we see is, we see changes in the conjunctiva, that too in palpebral area. Okay, we see in bulbar conjunctiva, where do we changes in the bulbar conjunctiva, that too in palpebral area. Okay, so in the, at this site we'll see changes. What are the changes that we see here is, here are mainly three changes we will see. First one is dusky red triangular congestion. Dusky red triangular congestion. Okay. Second one is limbal papillae. Limbal papillae. Third one is presence of discrete whitish raised spots. Sorry, raised dots. We will explain each one of these. First one is dusky red triangular congestion, right? Dusky red triangular congestion. This is seen in bulbar conjunctiva. As I already told you, there will be dusky red triangular congestion. Second one is limbal papillae, right? Limbal papillae. These limbal papillae, these are accumulations of tissue. These are accumulations of tissue where around limbus. Around limbus. Okay, there will be accumulations of tissues around limbus. Around limbus. These accumulations, these are gelatinous. These are gelatinous and thickened and thickened, right? So limbal papillae, these are nothing but accumulations of tissues around limbus. Clear? These are gelatinous and thickened and thick. Clear? So this is about limbal papillae. Then moving to whitish raised spots. Okay, see these white dots, they are present in the limbus. Sorry, they are present along limbus. Okay, along limbus we'll see some raised dots. Raised dots, these are white in color. These are white in color and they are discrete. Okay, so around along the limbus, what we see is, we see some white spots, right? These are discrete and they are raised dots, right? So this is about bulbar limbal form. Let's revise bulbar limbal form. Bulbar limbal form. In this we see three signs. One is dusky red triangular congestion, right? Dusky red triangular congestion. Okay, second one is limbal papillae. What are these limbal papillae? These limbal papillae, they are nothing but They are nothing but accumulations of tissues around the limbus. Around the limbus. Third one is there will be some whitish razor dots, right? Where along the limbus, raised dots. These dots are also called Horner Tranta spots. Horner Trantas spots. Okay, so these are bulbar limbal form. Okay. Now moving to mixed form. As the name itself indicates, in mixed form there will be features of both palpebral form and bulbar limbal form. Clear? This is about different clinical forms. Then we'll see the symptoms of the disease. So far we have discussed signs. Okay, signs in various forms. Now we'll see symptoms. We'll see symptoms. Note what these symptoms are very less in number. Clear? Less in number. Let's see them. There will be marked burning. See, this is something related to allergy, right? So there will be burning sensation and there will be itching sensation also. Itching sensation also. Clear? And these symptoms, they will be exaggerated in hot conditions, like in summer. Okay, this will be exaggerated in hot conditions like summer. And these symptoms, this itching and burning sensation, this will be more in palpebral form of disease. This will be more in palpebral form. Okay, this is these are the two symptoms. Then other symptoms include photophobia, lacrimation, stringy discharge, and there will be heaviness of lids. Okay, so these are the symptoms. Let's revise the symptoms once again. There will be burning sensation and itching sensation, and these symptoms will be exaggerated during hot conditions. Clear? This will be exaggerated during hot conditions like summer, and these symptoms will be more marked in palpebral form of keratoconjunctivitis. Keratoconjunctivitis, right? So the other symptoms include photophobia, lacrimation, stringy discharge, and heaviness of lids. Okay, these are symptoms. Now let's see the effect of these diseases on cornea. Okay, what are the signs that we can see in cornea? The signs in the cornea are collectively called as vernal keratopathy. Here we will see punctate epithelial keratitis. We will see punctate epithelial keratitis. This keratitis is due to the drugs that we use, right? This is due to drugs. These drugs, what they do is they will result in punctate epithelial keratitis. Clear? And these punctate epithelial keratitis will result in frank epithelial erosions. Okay, so when these punctate epithelial keratitis develops, these lesions will combine with each other and results in the formation of frank epithelial erosions. Clear? These frank epithelial lesions will again uh, com- uh, communicate with each other and results in the formation of ulcers. These ulcers are called ulcerative vernal keratitis. Okay. Sometimes these epithelial erosions will will be having a coating of will have coating will have some coating. Okay, with what? With altered exudates, with altered exudates, right? So these epithelial erosions will have some coating. That coating is with altered exudates, or you can say simply exudates. So this after coating of these epithelial erosions, this condition is called, or these lesions are called vernal corneal plaques. Vernal, will write in page, vernal corneal plaques, right? So these are the effects of this disease on cornea. There is two more effects. They are subepithelial scarring, and pseudogerontoxin and pseudogerontoxin. Okay. So let's revise once again. So first there will be punctate epithelial keratitis, right? Punctate epithelial keratitis. This lesion will combine with each other and results in frank epithelial erosions. Right? These frank epithelial erosions will combine to each other and results in ulcerative vernal keratitis. Sometimes these frank epithelial erosions will be coated with some exudates, right? Coated with exudates, right? And these lesions are called vernal corneal plaques. Vernal corneal plaque, right? So this and other signs include subepithelial scarring in cornea, right? Subepithelial scarring in cornea. And the last is pseudogerontoxin. Actually, I cannot write all over the board. I can only write half of the board. So there is some problem. The last is pseudogerontoxin. Okay, this is also corneal lesion, right? These are the corneal lesions. So how will the clinical course of this disease? I already told you this is self-limiting, right? This self-limiting. Only supportive care should be given. Clear? So this is something about vernal keratoconjunctivitis.